Mic check, mic check. I've stolen my wife's account yet again. She has way less people blocked than I do, so it's better when she holds spaces. And then I just steal her phone. Although today I did not steal her phone. I'm just running it from a separate device. Where's Say1? I'm going to add Say1. Say1, brother.
Hey, what's up?
Well, it's a happening day, man. Corbell is saying stuff, right? You've got Paulina Luna, right? Representative Luna
Yeah,
talking about the SCIF's gotten approved. I think that's
yeah.
pretty big.
What looks like to be happening is it's very interesting that the SCIF got approved, right? Right as they're deciding on a Speaker of the House. So I don't know what position Jim Jordan hold. Maybe he was the chair of the committee or something like that, which got basically Luna and Burchett said if you can get approval for the SCIF and the select committee, you have our vote. That could have been happening. It's also interesting that Lakatsky came out last night and said what he said. I mean, everybody's hating on him. It's like, oh, he's a gatekeeper, but it still just doesn't make sense on why, if he doesn't believe in disclosure, he would come out. I think he said what he said, knowing that we know some Congress folks watch the weaponized, like Tim Burchett, so he could be like, that's interesting. If we get the select committee, you're going to be subpoenaed to talk.
And I threw it up in the Jumbotron, just the tweet from Representative Luna, where she announced again that they will be getting a SCIF for a classified UAP briefing with Grusch and the IG. What's up, Vet Shane? How you doing, buddy? Sorry if
Dude, I'm
I
so
know
confused.
the voice may not match the profile pic.
No, the voice is harder than the profile pic.
I told you I'm hot. I'm hot.
Now, I just confused me. I was like, wait, what's going on? I see both of you in here. Well, people changed their profile pics, I guess. So I don't remember. See, you confused me. Now I don't even know what we're talking about.
So check it out. Up top, we got Representative Luna announcing that they've got a SCIF going. Hopefully, a SCIF has been scheduled or approved. I mean, this is me totally not understanding how any of this really works. So I'm hoping at some point somebody who knows what they're talking about comes up here. Not to say Saywan and Old Vet Shane don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, what are you asking? I'm
The
confused.
SCIF, the SCIF got approved for so Grusch can go in there with the ICIG and talk about the classified names, the holding location, where this information is, who are the hostile witness list, who are the non-hostiles, and more about this that he couldn't say at the hearing.
Isn't that compliant? I mean, isn't that kind of... So look, if they're in the SCIF, just because you're in the SCIF doesn't mean you can and will get that information. My point being is, if there's people in there who aren't allowed, who aren't authorized, he's got to do the minimum of what they can do, right? So if only the Gang of Eight is authorized for, I think, probably all of this shit, that's what worries me. Is like, so Luna gets in a SCIF, but she's not authorized. It doesn't matter if they're in a place he can say it. Doesn't mean he will.
Shane, but the witness list is not. I don't think it's that classified as a high level as like the holding location. So as long as we get the witness list, we're good. We need to know who those non-hostiles are and hostiles are, because that will be enough ample evidence for the select committee. Because what they're going to do with this is they're going to spring it on the speaker. They're like, you want our approval, you want our vote, approve that select committee, and you have it. I'm telling you, a part of the reason why McCarthy got ousted by Gates and why Burchett just said, well, it is what it is. He's not doing his job. Luna and all of them. It's very interesting that five out of 8 of those people were for UAP transparency. There were some heavy hitters in that name. Mace also didn't want McCarthy to be there any longer, and then he got ousted. Very interesting. I even wondered if we did get the select committee, would there have been enough leverage that Burchard would have been able to talk to Gates. Hey, you got to cool it. At least we got the select committee. Let's just wait a bit and give him more of a shot.
So like now my big questions are, so you had Corbell, who said, I'm just going to quote him here. I'll throw up in the Jumbotron too, actually. So Corbell said, great news. The aim is to have everybody attending cleared to be able to receive all pertinent information, including direct witness lists, and in parentheses it says compliant and hostile, as well as identifying UAP holding facilities and UAP exploitation forgive me, program names. And then Jeremy finished up with David Grusch is ready to roll. Woo! Woo! Give me that Ric Flair. Woo!
Is this for the SCIF?
Well, then you just answered my question. So everyone apparently is going to be in there, is going to be authorized to hear everything he can say. But he's still, even though he can see, I think he's still limited. He's some of the shit's like, I don't know who's going to be in there. That's the thing. That's what's important. Doesn't matter if they can hear all the shit he's already said that's classified. I know he knows stuff that he can't even talk about.
But again, it's still a win if we get the hostile, non-hostile witness list, because that gives us something significant to go off.
I just threw Corbell's tweet up in the Jumbotron. If you scroll up, everyone, you can read it there. So, I mean, that's historic. I mean, look, I think we still are a decent away from, and I think Olvet Shane, I think you're right here. I can't see them getting read in on every program, right, that would be related to this, so that he can talk to them about it, or whatever the case may be. Like, I know there's going to be some like need to not tell them everything. And I'm also concerned the UFO community as a whole is going to be like, yo, all right, here's the meeting where we learn everything. No, that's probably not what's going to happen, right? So expectation management.
It's the impetus for the select committee. This is what's gonna be pushing that UAP select committee.
What'd you call me? Oh, I said impetus.
Impetus.
It's Latin for motherfucker. But and so even if so, we're talking about Grusch is ready to like give the information. They're ready to get it. It's getting them in the room and getting them talking and like, I refuse to believe that paperwork here is the reason why this won't happen. It's going to be if it gets fucked up or if it produces nothing. I assure you, this shit is. They've had decades to build a way to make sure only some bits of information get out. I'm telling you, man. Like, there's no way they're going to tell anybody in these SCIFs anything that is going to break this wide open. That's my fear.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say that was it Lakaski? I think part of that is because he knows what it really is, and he knows what people really knowing would do. Just because, again, I know a lot of us think, hell, even me, I think I know what it is. The more and more I hear, it's world shaking shit for people, right? And I wonder if that's part of the reason he had said that. But we gotta, I don't know, what sucks is this: no matter what, David can't talk about everything. And it's not like I know exactly what it is, but just from watching the videos or the different podcasts he does, he knows a shitload that he can't talk about. And then talking to my sources, the stuff they tell me, I think part of the fucking problem is our government knows so much, is in a part of so much, they're not going to say shit. They're going to do every bit. And I have a problem with Congress as well. The way it works now, it's all about getting reelected. So all it takes is one more favor. Okay, I won't vote for that if you do this. So it kind of sucks.
This is Shane where Lou comes in with his tweet saying, and we know this. He said, I think by early 2024 to mid 2024, a significant change is going to happen. And I think that significant change, what we're seeing rolling into December, is more of these whistleblowers coming out. And even though Congress doesn't want this stuff to come out, it's just going to be forcing their hand, just like how they forced the House Oversight Committee hearing.
Sorry if anybody just jumped in. I stole my wife's phone. This is UAP Mike. I stole her phone because I have a lot of people blocked and they have me blocked, so it's just easier for her to host a space, just in case people want to get involved in the conversation. So,
What the fuck? This is UAP Mike. I'm leaving and
no,
blocking.
it's actually not. I'm UAP Brian on the run, on the lam from NASA. Still, I still have my calendar marked December 31st. Man, that's when the NASA announcements are coming out. So just mark your calendars. 20.
Hey, I got a question.
What's up?
Who in here knows anything about remote viewing? I know Weaponized, they talked about it the other day. I've been kind of into it. So, for example, Project Stargate, CIA. I found some papers, right? And they're doing different training. And I'm trying to figure out what training entails. I'm under the impression that if it's doing training, they're sussing out the skills and stuff, right? So they're only putting things that they can validate or verify. Because how would you train somebody if you have no way to even know if it's real? That's what I'm curious. Does anybody know that answer?
I mean, validation. Again, I was listening to someone talking about how to validate, but like it would be validating psychic ability, and it would require two pristine like MRI machines on like opposite ends of the world, right? Connected to two of the most talented psychics, right, or whatever, and we would have to try to have them like communicate with each other and have the MRI machines like the exact same ones like running at the
Well,
same
wait,
time.
I think you misunderstood what I'm saying.
Oh.
I'm talking about like remote viewing. Okay. For example, if you go research Project Stargate, you'll see a bunch of sessions, remote viewing. These are labeled as training, which they have the training and they have target sessions, right? And others, right? So I'm under the impression like if it's a training session, it's a noob, they want to see what they have, right? Like just like you were saying, they have to have a way to do it. But on this paper, during the training, like I said, it said training. They gave him Galactic Federation, and he kind of draws it out. Now, everything we now know up to this point, and I now know about remote viewing, and I now know about all these other things. If training's a way of sussing individuals out, and they remote view something, how do you vet that they're good at it if it isn't real to vet? Unless they do something and it's completely not real. So my thing is this. I'll post it in a second, man. I don't know if it's legit, but I started thinking, is the Galactic Federation is real? And I went down to where this remote viewing thing was located and spent like 4 hours looking for what he kind of drew. And I was like, I think this is it. I'll post it, man. But I'm curious if anyone knows if the training requires someone else to be able to validate, yeah, he got it right or he got it wrong. That's what I need to know.
So I'm still thinking, Jeremy knows. He said there is a central repository where all of the UFO information is kept, right? He said this was, I don't know, 7, 8 months, no, over a year ago, probably. I remember this. And I'm curious if Grusch is one of the people, like, according to this tweet that's up in the Jumbotron, UAP holding facilities and UAP exploitation program names. I wonder if he only knows where they hold the actual, facilities where they hold the actual UAPs or data on them. I'd love for it to be both.
Wait, what the fuck, dude? I actually know where that data is. Well, maybe. I posted a while back and actually went back to relook at the tweet. I don't know if I was high when I posted it, but I know I did. And it's the NRO brand new data facility. Where the fuck is it? And I can't find my tweet. I literally found a paper about it, a full on paper, and it's a brand new NRO data facility. So you guys may have to search. I don't know if I'm stupid, but I'm like, where the hell did I post that shit at? Straight up. I don't know. Yeah,
How
that's got to be
recent
it,
was it?
man. Oh, it's recent. Let me go see if I can find it before I start talking out my ass.
If we get the name of the program or the facility in this classified hearing or whatever briefing, that is going to be absolutely huge. The bottom line is something paramount is going to have to come out of this briefing for the select committee.
We lost Old Mitchin. I think I found the tweet. He's talking about this NRO aerospace data facility. Oh, there he is. Okay. I think I found it, Shane. I think I threw it up in the Jumbotron for you.
Oh, you did, dude? I looked for that shit for like 3 days. How'd you find that shit?
I
It
just
wasn't
looked,
an NRO, was
search
it?
NRO.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't know. Twitter's fucked up, man. Under the hood, I don't know if anybody knows anybody who does like marketing for Twitter. Like the analytics coming out of this fucking website are just like so wonky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for a fact that that's it. It's funny you mentioned it though, because I actually came across it when I was researching NRO, and I posted it. And I know for a fact I searched NRO, and a bunch of other shit came up. That's why I was like, "What the hell?"
All right. Well, I mean, I think we all agree the NRO is definitely involved in some sort of data collection or housing. You know, I don't know what do you want to call it, but would not surprise me should David Grusch, you know, implicate some sort of NRO facilities in any of this. Of course, we'd never know because it's going to be all in a SCIF. I'm not asking anyone to leak anything, wink. But you know, if something important that the world should know gets said, maybe it's worth, you know, someone finding out legally.
Hey, Mike, do
Well,
me a favor.
Mike, you're gonna know if anything significant was said in the hearing. You're gonna get the wink, wink with the setup of that select committee.
Yeah,
Hey,
fair
If it
Mike,
point.
happens immediately, that's you're
Fair
gonna
point.
know.
Yeah.
Mike, co-host me so we can get this fucking space popping. More people, the
All
more
right.
talking. And hey, I was going to say this too. If you guys, I posted today actually. So Project Preserve Destiny is legit, man. I know it, but I went in there and I was reading it again, and I saw his PCS paperwork again, right? And I was like, you know what? I looked at this one spot, and I swear to God, I couldn't tell if it was. I could not tell if it was an initial or if it was him making a little mark to be like, look at this. So Dan Sherman's who I'm talking about, not specifically for me, but for the book is what I'm saying. So I start breaking it's a fund site code for the United States government. So I start breaking it down. As I break it down, the one thing I get to that doesn't make any sense, that smells of a black project, is his PCS orders and storage are paid for by the GSA. And the actual part of the site, the fund site code actually has a typical number that's on the other site code, but then it has ON, right? Which ON's is going to be the operation, so it'll be the number then the operation because I broke it completely down. And what makes sense to me, man, Operation Nectar. And Operation Nectar was a signal intelligence projects that had spots that no one really kind of knew about that I can't really say it the way they did, but where we communicated with allies in some way. So I'm like, what the hell? But I haven't even broke the rest of the code down because a lot of that information is inside so if you guys want to go to that tweet and try to find the other stuff on old papers and stuff, but it's an Air Force, it's under the Air Force, and then GSA is paying for it. And I know for a fact, and I also researched, that's a non-starter. That doesn't happen because the GSA actually exists. They pay for real estate for the government. It's a place to funnel money on the DL. So that's another, it's legit for me, man.
Yeah. And again, so I'll throw it up in the Jumbotron for anyone who's joining us. Again, I've stolen my wife's phone. I'm holding it hostage, maybe possibly for some sort of treat. This is a thing that donkeys do. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but if gentlemen or partners, anyone out there who has to carry things up and down hills, donkeys sometimes need to steal phones and hold spaces. So I'm trying to find this tweet. That's why I'm. I'm not making any sense. I'm trying to find.
I'm so confused, dude. Your voice don't match. Whatever you're saying doesn't make sense. I have no idea what's going on.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to find the Anna
Which
Representative
tweet?
Luna tweet here to replace your NRO one. But they can't make any of this easy. I'm just psyched with what Corbell said too. Like, I just see these like two massive, like, it's like a matchup. Like Grusch coming out and he's like, "Yo, I got it all ready to go," and like fucking the other side's, "We're ready for you," and like, just get in the fucking room and do it. Just do it, right? So like, I'm just worried somehow this won't fall through, just like everything. All right, here it is. Found the tweet finally. Fuck. All right. So third up in the jumbotron there, again, Representative Luna announcing that they will be allowed to do a SCIF classified UAP briefing with Grusch, or referring to Grusch with the IG. And she tagged Tim Burchett, Jared Moskowitz, and Matt Gaetz. All right, am I the only one who feels like Matt Gaetz being like read on like a lot of these exclusive secrets is so bizarre? Like, isn't this guy like super exploitable? I thought. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really give a shit, but I was just a little concerned. He's got a huge forehead, but I don't care if he gets the UFO truth. I mean, anybody who's willing to
Gate,
go bat for that right now, I think it's important that they do, even if I don't agree with their political takes.
Gate, Gates is going to push it right onto the speaker because he is going to be the one who can hear all the juicy information.
Yeah.
The IG can try to tell him where you can't have this information, but he has the right security clearances. So he is going to be the only one, and maybe a few of the other members that are going to get the holding facility, the hostile and the non-hostile list, and they're going to bring this information and bring it right to the speaker, and they're going to force the speaker either through the approval of the Speaker of the House or as a leading vote that you need to establish the select committee.
Hi, Mary. I stole my wife's phone, so sorry if this is
Well,
rude.
I was just going to say, you could look at it another way, that all, theoretically anyway, or one would hope, all of his whatever, all of his baggage is out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, one would hope that there is nothing else that we don't know about that somebody could hold against him, you know? So I wouldn't worry about him being compromised, you know what I'm saying?
I
Seems like
mean, yeah, he
the
is pretty
perfect person,
he is
really.
pretty. I mean, he's already pretty compromised as is, right? Yeah, I'm just like concerned. It's the same thing like they said with Donald Trump. Like, why would they? I mean, look, let's all admit he seemed a little fast and loose with some secrets. Maybe I don't really know. And I think maybe the intelligence community was concerned about like giving him too much information. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Like, this is not some, like, I'm not trying to be a partisan individual, but I definitely know people in the intelligence community were like hesitant to give this guy info because like he just might blurt it out. I think he did blurt out things that were very sensitive. So I mean, like, imagine like telling him something really sensitive, and he's like, the UFOs are in room B2 at Wright Patterson, and then you're like, whoops, now everybody knows where it is. Not that it would make a difference.
If only, because that would have really been helpful if he'd managed to do that before he left office. And even now, it would be great if he would blab about that. What's he got to lose?
I remember he was talking about Roswell, or him and his son were like, Roswell was an interesting thing. Like, they actually said that. And I just, I'm generally, if it's from prison, not from prison, whatever happens, I generally would like to know what someone told Donald Trump about Roswell. Completely 100% curious what the fuck they told that guy.
I've heard some crazy shit about Roswell that others haven't. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we've heard some of this, but never as part of Roswell. We've heard the time travel theory, right? So I heard that was a part of Roswell and two individuals.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard similar the time travel thing, and I don't.
Wait. You've actually heard that?
Yeah, I've heard. Dude, there's so many things that go around Roswell. I mean, again, I don't know if it's the exact time traveling suggestion, but yeah, I want to say.
No, wait. What I mean is this: like, I think those people are here still.
I mean, they might. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I heard that. So, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, yeah, I heard that, and it's like, wait, what? And that's what I mean. I mean, those individuals may not even have been aware, and now they're in this timeline, and they're still here.
Well, I remember what's her name, Annie Jacobson, talking about it being a Russian craft with like mutilated children or children with some sort of like medical condition that made them small. I'm not sure, but I remember like
Yeah,
that
I
was
read that
another
too.
wild theory I heard. Well, not heard. Annie
Wait,
Jacobson
you
was
just call mine
told.
a theory and not the truth?
I just want to get. I just like let's get this SCIF. Let's get this Senate Select Committee or whatever they got going to go on and marry them up. What about the Lukatsky episode? Anyone? I mean, again, it was Monday at 3 a.m. or whatever, Tuesday for most of us that they released it.
I think he was talking about the MJ-12 documents, but bear with me. I think the MJ-12 documents are like Tom DeLonge's books, a way of getting information out in some form or fashion, because we do have under Reagan, you have that, what is it, IP-40? No, that's a damn band. IP, but a form of some sort of an MJ-12. That I think that might have been what he was talking about when he said that there were some fake documents or some shit.
I haven't gotten through the whole interview yet. I did get through some of it, like the first like 20, 30 minutes, I think. It's a pretty long interview.
Did you know they've mentioned Yakima Valley in their new book?
No, I'm not surprised. I know Bass went all over the place. So hey, Karen, right? Karen, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm just catching up on this whole Grusch getting interviewed in a SCIF thing. Is that coming out of the Senate or the House, or
All right,
who's doing it?
Let me throw it back up in the Jumbotron. I'm throwing it up right now. Sorry, Shane. I just replaced your Galactic Federation. All right, so it's up there. Yeah, so Anna Luna, the representative, said they'll be allowed to do a SCIF. So I don't know what that means, allowed. I don't know what I'd like for words in bureaucracy to definitely represent
Well, you have
something.
to be cleared to be able to do that. But so it doesn't say. Oh, it's Tim Burchett's. Okay, I see. Yep, makes sense.
So I think what happened with Grusch is the DOD, because he was read out of the NGO and NRO, they took away his security clearance. Usually they don't do that, but I mean they kind of just did that, right? So he wasn't able to tell Congress anything. I mean, there are still appropriate members who don't need to ask the DOD anything, like Gates, but Gates can't ask Grusch to say anything without a security clearance. So the DOD, because of the immense pressure of the House, got a one-time read on security clearance. Now Grusch has a one-time security clearance. Go ahead and talk to these Congressmen.
Your audio's dropping out. Say one.
All right, thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Shane. I think you had your hand up.
So I've asked this so many times. Hell, I've even asked this when I was writing for the record. Why is no one looking for NDAs? We know there's somewhere, or they couldn't force people to stay quiet. I also know that Solace talks about the fact that he signs them, knows where they are. Those things they have where the bodies are buried. No one's trying. I think I even brought it up to another journalist, like, ask them this. Look for the NDAs. You have to have them to keep people quiet, or they wouldn't be so scared about shit like that. Well, besides they're being suicided and stuff, but no one's looking for the NDAs. Multiple have talked about signing them. It should all be there, so I'm confused, especially by your photo.
Well, I don't know about that's what confuses me too, because if you're working in a program like he was supposedly working in, um, you have to have you have to get the certain clearances in place, right? Um, that has nothing to. I don't think there's an explicit NDA that you need for that. I think it's just the whatever you go through to get those clearances in place.
Yeah, the Title 50, all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. But you're still gonna sign an NDA.
I don't know, because for all the stuff, my dad worked in a SCIF for the latter part of his
Oh, I'm
career.
not talking about the SCIF. I'm talking about people who
Oh,
have.
okay.
Let's say
Because
if you're in the military and you're like Robert Salas and you have an encounter, or you're working on craft, they also make you sign an NDA, and those NDA are pretty explicit. I'm curious, but no, you're right. I'm not saying in the SCIF. You don't
yeah,
necessarily
like
need
my
it.
dad was working on, which was at the time was Star Wars stuff. You know,
Karen. Oh, all right. So this is great.
he didn't sign an NDA for that.
Karen, could you kind of give us can you give us like a 30,000-foot view of where you think we are in the process of this actually happening? Like, what do you think she's saying up here? Is she saying like she just got cleared?
It says we will be allowed to do the SCIF classified UAP briefing. It doesn't mean he's cleared to talk about what he knows. It just means they're going to let him into the SCIF. But the people who interview him have to also have the clearance to have whatever information they're trying to get. Right? Do you know what I mean? So that's my semi-amateurish take.
No, that's good. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's what I figured too. Allowed is such a, you know what I mean? Like, if it were some sort of thing that was like definitively happening, I feel like maybe different language would have been used.
Well, an example being, let's say 7 people go in a SCIF. One of those individuals has just a secret. Everyone else is top secret. The most he could say is secret until that individual leaves. That's my point. So 19 individuals that are all senators and think they're going to get all the information. He's just got to find out clearances and who's authorized for what first, because he knows, okay, I can only say to here. So that, yeah, she's right on that.
Well, like Timber Chat doesn't have that kind of clearance, so that's why I'm a little
That's
confused.
why I mentioned it, I think, before you, that I'm worried
actually
that
going to interview him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm just like you. I actually said the same thing. I think you meant before you came in here. I was worried that
Okay.
they're going to go in
All right.
there and we're not going to get info.
All right. So that we will be allowed to do a SCIF briefing. So when they say this, are they going to pick a representative that has the classifications to represent them in the SCIF? Or like, does it, you know what I mean? Like, can they have someone who will be able to hear everything?
Well, see, that's what's so weird about it, right? Because even if they take them into a SCIF and they have somebody with the right classifications or whatever to be able to clearances, excuse me, to be able to talk to him about the things he says he knows, he's still not necessarily able to share that with the committee, right? So how do they? It's kind of like a lose-lose proposition. I mean, he can go in there and talk about it all he wants, but they might say, "Well, sorry, we're not going to clear you to talk to Burchett and the other people on that committee." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just brought up Mr. Bob Pliskin, UFO Twitter OG. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Hey, Bob. So, what is your take on that tweet up here? And again, I apologize. I've stolen my wife's phone, so sorry if that's throwing you off. But anyways, the tweet up there and like the language she's using. What's your take from that?
Yeah, so I guess everybody that has the proper clearance, they'll send it to whatever the SSO that controls that space, right? So, and then they'll have probably a giant Excel spreadsheet that has whatever individuals are read into whatever compartments. And then at that point, they'll just give, you can give a secret, Grusch or whoever the person is could give a secret briefing. And at that point, they'll kick everybody else that is only cleared up to secret. And then, okay, everybody that's read into HCS, give that briefing. And then they'll give a briefing on whatever's up to HCS. And then, okay, kick everybody else out. And okay, SITK and Gamma, and then other things, right? So they'll just, if it's a small, it's pretty controlled. I mean, I would give those types of briefings quite frequently. So you bring people in, you give them what they can, and then you kick everybody out, and then you do what you have to do. But it shouldn't be too difficult. I don't know, oversight committee, they can get some of the information. If they're not read into something, they can at least be told, oh, you're getting kicked out because you're not read into X or whatever. And then they can go and get read in on that. If there's an SSO on site, they arguably could read a person on if they can demonstrate that they have access and there is a need to know. So it's quite possible they could get a day read on and then leave, but they'd have to demonstrate that.
Hey, Bob, can you do everybody a favor? Most people in the room may not know what a SSO is. I know it's an old doty, but you may want to give them a heads up what that is.
So an SSO would be I think it's a security. I don't know the acronym off the top of my head. So it's a security officer that's in charge of basically maintaining all the security, clearances and facilities of that particular area or whatever they're in charge of. So I was with the 26 MU, so I fell under the 2nd Marine Division's SSO. So when I was read into different compartments, they would bring me into the SCIF over at 2nd Mardiv and then read me in to whatever I needed to be read into, and then they would, send me out. And then when we were on ship, we had security liaisons or clerks, clearance or whatever. I can't think of the name now, but off the top of my head. But yeah, you would have basically like a master spreadsheet knowing what everybody was read into. So you could bring people in and, discuss certain matters and then kick people out. So an SSO is the person that's in charge of, because somebody maintains all of the security clearances for all our elected officials and their staff. So the SSO that's on site there, I would likely be maybe that person.
What I don't understand though, okay, so most of the people on that committee probably don't have the clearances that would be required to hear or be read into, to use that term, the information that Grusch claims to have, right? So how do they get how do they get anything, gain any information out of this process?
Again, without knowing what special access program it was or department it fell under, I don't know. They could maybe get around it by at least moving the ball a little bit further down. Like, oh, I can't tell you that, sir, because you're not read into this program. But I can tell you about the existence of this program inside a SCIF.
I mean, there's no way the Schumer amendment could somehow affect this, right? Wasn't there some sort of language in there stating that there needed to be some sort of rapid declassification of UAP related issues? Or, I mean, obviously that's a very big stretch, but would be nice. That I would assume, right? If it related or crossed over, somebody would try to do something to get that into the hands of people that could talk about it.
Yeah, that's I think what Sheehan has been saying, that he's participating in putting together a council that would review everything, and then so that would be. It sounds like another government oversight thing that's going to be 1 year, 2 years in the making kind of deal. But something bureaucratic. But if the existence of something might be classified at the TSSCI level, so where Grusch says, sir, ma'am, I cannot give you the information, but this compartment exists. Go get right into it, and then we'll talk about it. I don't know if that.
Hey, can I also say? I keep stepping on
Sorry,
you. I'm sorry,
no,
Bob.
go for it.
No, that's me, Bob.
Yeah,
it's all my fault. You go.
No, I'm good.
Oh, no, I was going to point out his mention of the SSO, how important SSO is. I'm under the impression like that leak everybody lost their shit for with Eric Davis was intentional, so that everyone knew when David was supposed to do his story with the Washington Post, there was an SSO attached to vet it, right? Because an SSO literally knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows, like he just said. So I posted up in the nest, guys. SSOs are actually pretty important. And if they're signed on or a part of something, you can count on them knowing a lot about that something.
And thank you, Karen and Bob, for that was really educational, and I learned quite a bit from listening to you two. And I think that's good. Like, more people, this is a very complicated thing, right? Very complex, very bureaucratic, very sensitive. It sucks when things are complicated and sensitive. That's like the two things that make these things hard to understand. And I appreciate anybody who kind of shed light on this. And it's still kind of an evolving situation. And the thing that I thought was very interesting was the follow-up tweet from Jeremy Corbell. Again, I'll throw it up in the Jumbotron about Grusch. The aim is to have everybody attending cleared to be able to receive all pertinent information, including direct witness lists and, in parentheses, compliant and hostile, as well as identifying UAP holding facilities and UAP exploitation program names. So, I mean, it sounds to me like, of course, here's in the Grusch corner, like the things they're ready to share. But again, will they be able to share them is the other story. Go ahead, Shane.
So I want to piggyback off that. So let's say they give them the information where some of these programs are, because if you pay attention to UFO Twitter, you see things like Northrop, BDM, all these other BlackRock, all these things. What are we gonna do when they get this information? When they're beholden to the very same companies that are giving them money, and so on top of that, do we really expect people who rely on being reelected and points and money as well to actually start tearing down like this aerospace defense? It's so toxic and so bad that the last time I think I actually heard somebody discussing it, people will go to prison if they actually investigate. I mean, it's just that all behind the scenes aerospace defense companies, when we gave them tech and they signed a contract to do these things, they kept building their own shit. Now imagine, like, our government doesn't have the funding like they talk about, so it's compartmentalized. But now you have these billionaires companies who do, and they make lots of progress. And those same companies, if they know that tech exists, let me ask you guys this. If they know UFOs and that tech exists, what makes you not think they won't think that megaliths exist? Megaliths, right? So imagine a company who's all in on this stuff, and they do. And I think that's the shadow word, guys. I'm telling you, BlackRock is literally the fucking problem with this shit. They have everything. A contractor versus contractor, all that shit, man. Imagine that. When they say another nation or a third party, what was it, other nation or whatever, I think that's actually code for fucking BlackRock. So that's insanity. To have tech that your government can't even keep up with. That's why I don't want to talk much about the MH370 to burn down that shit. Whether it's real or not, I think that part of it that plays into it was the fact that I think that tech exists, and then you have sentient, then you have our programs that search, capture, whatever you want to call it, that would be there in time. And then why would they ever say that it had happened? They'd want to bury it as well, because anyone admitting any of this tech exists, just all of a sudden the floodgates are open, right? For all these companies that just have tech. All these companies are literally making money hand over foot off of our government, and our government can't do shit about that.
Again, I suspect the situation is pretty complex on all fronts. So we are talking about, if there is debris and craft, some of it is in the hands of private companies. I'm curious what will be considered proprietary, and you know what I mean. Like, there is that struggle. Like, what an awful thing to have to be like, well, we don't have to tell the public because it's proprietary. If that comes down to what happens here, I'm out. I cannot. I will go protest in front of Lockheed Martin every day. All right, I will collect cans on the street, all right, and sell them and scream at these people. If this is,
you're going to be that guy. Yeah, the one we see on the news.
Well, no, only if it's true. I'm not going to just. My wife is looking at me. No, honey, I'm not going to just quit my job and go harass aerospace companies. That's silly.
I'll go with you. I'll do it. I've got nothing better to do.
I don't spit in the face of $800 billion babies unless there's a very good reason. All right. So we definitely need, I mean, there is a very good reason, but, you know, I think we need to definitely go to bat with more than we have. And I think that's where, so if they go do this, you know, they get everybody in the skiff, they talk it through. I would assume the next step, should some sort of meaningful information come out of it, would be like, what was his name? Dick D'Amato, right? Right. Dick D'Amato was the guy that I think Clinton sent to Area 51 to go look into this, right? And like he got every classification. He got like, I don't want to say every class, whatever. He got some sort of crazy waiver that he was able to go to Area 51 and see what's going on there. I'm assuming, should any meaningful information come out of here that we can somehow verify, not us, but like, you know, our elected officials, there would be someone designated to go to these facilities and see what's there. Like, I don't think the politicians are going to go there to review what's there.
They certainly could. They do a field hearing.
I mean, I would love, because I think those are the people who have a lot less to lose as far as telling everybody the truth. Obviously, a fine line being walked there. I think that's why they're afraid of them too. Also, because, you know, elected officials can be motivated to disclose details or leak details for personal gain. That's a problem. Hey, anybody wants to come up? We're kind of doing a little round table.
Yeah, actually, I forgot I'm a co-host,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry. What's your name? Cosmic whatever? You're a lot nicer than that fuck UAP Mike. Just retweet the space, guys. The more people in here, the better. I just like having these conversations. I mean, the only reason I know this stuff about this topic and go, actually 100%, is because of spaces or people posting in the thread. So also post links in the thread. I always research them and I put them in my brain, and maybe somewhere down the line I can piece that shit somewhere. But I'm telling you, underground bases are a thing as well, and the Galactic Federation is real.
Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate the power of a rep in the House that is well connected and can get things done. Anybody that's Charlie Wilson's war, the story of what Charlie Wilson did. He's just a House of Representative guy that was able to pull strings, finance things, and become well connected. So if you have up and comers in the House of Representatives that has a following and starts building influence and goes into that SCIF when they do have it and is told about a facility. I mean, if again, the House representative holds the purse, they can affect money. So you want somebody that has influence, that can be bipartisan, and that can affect change, because that's the person that can actually, move things.
Is that the representative you were talking about, Bob? The guy who went after Oppenheimer?
Wilson's war? No, that's the guy that basically funded the Mujahideen when they were fighting against the Russians.
Oh, okay. All right, in the 80s or whatever.
So it's just in the late 70s, early 80s. So it's just, this hotshot, House rep guy that just kind of like, oh, let's change something, that sat on a committee and was briefed on something and said, I don't like that. Let's go change it. Wherever you say it right or wrong, they can affect change. So if you got, if you light a fire under their ass and they know how to get things done, they certainly can make change.
Fuck, man, they're our only hope at this point. So that's why I think even the people inside the intelligence community, everybody who's talked about this, like when you see the pressure and the effort and the momentum is being pushed towards our elected officials, because I think the people on the inside know they're the best hope at getting something out. Go ahead, Old Vetch.
I still think disclosure was really the only real reason for it, was to make everyone aware, and then to make sure our Congress funded so we catch up. I think it was like a foe. It was a good thing, national security, that type of thing. no one expected us to know everything. And I still don't think we're going to know everything, because I think that's the secret. That everything is so ridiculous that it's been classified as nonsense. That everything is so crazy that if you talk about it, such as myself, time traveling, anything like that, you automatically get relegated to that dude lost his shit, right? So for me, I'm set on that. The crazy shit, like, dude, it's not only UFOs and stuff like that, not only treaties and contact, it's portals, some form of time, whatever we think about consciousness, because we don't understand it. Hell, Gateway and the CIA is right there in front of us. So that's what the secret is to be. I mean, shit, I don't know if people can handle that, knowing that their entire life is pretty much a lie. And I'm saying that as you can live it entirely different if you have the right tools and knowledge.
Are you like selling a workout product or something, like a home gym?
$99.99. I'm gonna put the link. You guys buy it, and you will have consciousness.
All right, so I think I'm gonna wrap this space up. I just wanted to get everybody in here, but thank you everybody for coming up.
I was kidding, man. I'm not trying to grift, bro. I'm not selling shit. I ain't got shit.
Gee, go start another space. I got to give my wife a phone back.
Actually, I think I will. I just moved to a new house. I'm bored out of my damn mind,
nice.
so I think I will do that.
Well, then we should have
I don't know about
a
nice.
housewarming space then.
Yeah. No.
Do you have a SCIF in your
I'm
house?
hanging out with my girl.
You should get a SCIF.
Well,
we need more of them.
Check this out before you go. I came back staying with my mom and my grandfather. Haven't talked to him since like 2010 when I was sick, right? So my grandpa, we're talking about UFOs, and next thing you know, he starts unloading on me about, he's like, if you see UFOs all the time and you talk about them and Little Green Man, you're part of the occult. The occult's part of the problem. I'm like, oh shit, this guy thinks I'm Satan. Yeah, he's not a fan of UFOs.
All right, well, you be careful.
Hey, it's all right. I don't think he'll sacrifice me. He's my grandpa, I think.
All right, we'll catch everyone later. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Shane.